If you've been listening to the federal party leaders on the campaign trail, you might be under the mistaken assumption that whoever wins the most seats on October 19th will form the next government. Stephen Harper has said it, Justin Trudeau has said it, Thomas Mulcair has said it, but here's the thing, it's not true. Not even a little bit. And all three of our major party leaders are contributing to some serious misinformation about how our Westminster parliamentary system actually works. Why? Because the party that makes up the government must command the support of the House, not simply have the most MPs. That means they must have a majority of MPs who vote to support big government things, like a throne speech or a budget. And it's easy to get confused, because historically in Canada, the government has more often than not held a majority of seats in the House of Commons, meaning they easily command that support. But what happens when two parties have almost the same number of seats and there's no clear majority? That's called a hung parliament, and it's a little more complicated. Let's say it's the day after the election, and no party wins the 170 seats required to hold a majority of the 338 seats in the House of Commons. Technically, Stephen Harper is still Prime Minister. Even if the Conservatives have just 100 seats, Harper still has the right to ask the Governor-General to allow him to present a throne speech and to see if he can gain the confidence of the House. He can also go to the Governor-General and say, "Hey, I don't think I can get the confidence of the House, and it's time to give another party a shot at government." And with only 100 seats, that's what most parliamentaries would do by convention. But what if after the election the Conservatives held 120 seats, the NDP 130 seats, and the Liberals 85, with the other parties picking up the last 3? Does Harper really have to resign like he said he would in a CBC interview this week? No. In fact, he could do the exact same thing as if he had a majority of seats, present a throne speech, seek the confidence of the House, and continue to govern. If another party votes with him, he stays in power. If the throne speech is voted down by the House of Commons, the Governor-General might ask the NDP, the party that has the most seats, if it wants a crack at government. But now the NDP needs another party to support their throne speech. So let's say the Liberals vote with the New Democrats and then they become the next government. This doesn't necessarily mean the parties are in a coalition, though that's also an equally valid part of our system. It just means the NDP commands the will of the House for the time being and are able to form government. The same thing could happen if the Liberals had the second most seats, the NDP the third most, and the Conservatives the most. The Grits and the New Democrats could vote down a Conservative throne speech and work together to ensure a Liberal government is formed. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. At the end of the day, the Prime Minister runs the party that commands the will of the House, not has the most seats. Period.